Today's video was a viewer request by Underhill. Normally I wouldn't do a iteration of Santa Claus. I've actually been trying to put off the Santa Claus build, but I think I'll make an exception for this iteration of the character. I also want to give a shout out to two of our newest subscribers, Sean Scribner and Jeff Shuttler. At least I think that's Jeff. I'm not used to seeing a G or an O in the name, so I do apologize if that is pronounced incorrectly. But thank you both for subscribing, and welcome to the family. And now on with today's viewer request. Fa la 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 days. Greetings, my dear viewers. It is I, Drahon, and welcome back to Pathfinder Hero Flux. That is Flux, short for fluctuation. Here in this series, we are taking characters from across media and bringing them into Pathfinder 2nd Edition using the lore from each character's individual canon. And oh boy, do we have a special one today. Nicholas St. North, the secondary leader of the Guardians of Childhood. Normally with the Guardians, they were somebody, and then they died after completing some sort of heroic action. And then they were brought back by Man in the Moon to become a guardian of childhood to stop the forces of evil or darkness, much like the King of Nightmares, Pitch Black. So, North. Who is he? Well, we'll go ahead and get into that, and first things first, we need our starting stats. For your strength, we're going with a 12, or +1, as we are now going by. Constitution, intelligence, and charisma are all going to be this +1. We are going to do the normal numbers for this build, just so we can more easily explain things. Because when it comes to a 18 to 19 to 20, you are only going up by 1 point, but that is not referenced by the modifier until you get to the 20 marker. We good? We got the explanation out of the way? Great. Now we are needing our ancestry and heritage, and since the Guardians are pretty much the same, you die after a heroic thing, and you are brought back by Man in the Moon. The best fitting heritage is going to be the Dusk Walker, with the ancestry of human. This will give us an extra +2 onto our strength and our constitution. We get a starting hit points of 8. We're going with the speed of 25 feet and the ancestry feat of Ghost Hunter. The Ghost Hunter gives us the ability to strike incorporeal beings as if our weapons were made of magic. And if our weapons are already magic, they gain the effect of the Ghost Touch property rune, which definitely goes well with Nicholas St. North's origin, since he did fight off one of Pitch's forces in his original story, which we'll get into here in a moment. But he did fight them off, and later was given his father's sword, which was magical and able to slice down these shadow beings. Moving on to our background, we are going off of a version of Santa Claus, so we are going to need the background of Toy Maker, which does still hold for Nicholas St. North, as as we've seen in the movie, he does make toys. And rather enjoys it. So increase your strength and your intelligence each by 2. We're going with the trained skill of crafting and mercantile law. And we get the skill feat of specialty crafting, and we're going with woodworking, since there's not an ice carver. But for real, a lot of toys are made out of wood, so it does make sense to go with wood carver, or woodworking. Moving on to our class, we are going with Rogue. This will give us a +2 to our charisma because of our racket being able to give us access to it. We'll get additional hit points equal to 8 plus our constitution modifier. We are going to get the expert in perception. Our saving throws, we are trained in fortitude, and we are experts in reflex and will. For your skills, we are going to be trained in the following skills after our build is complete. At least the first level. We are trained in acrobatics, arcana, athletics, deception, diplomacy, intimidation, occultism, performance, society, stealth, survival, and thievery. Our attacks, we are trained in simple, martial, and unarmed attacks. For our defenses, we are trained in light armor and unarmored defense. We get access to sneak attack and surprise attack. And for our racket, we are going with the scoundrel racket. I picked scoundrel because that is what he was classified as in the original, in the story of Nicholas St. North versus the Nightmare King. This was Nicholas St. North's origin story for Guardians of Childhood. And it has him as a scoundrel. And he lost interest in being a scoundrel, a thief, a pirate, because he was getting tired of upsetting other people. So he decided to help people instead. Fascinating book. From what I can tell, I had to take the summarized version, which I will put a link to that summarized version in the description down below, in case you want to hear about this story but do not have the time to read it. Moving on to level 2, we are going to be experts in the crafting skill. We are going to get the class feat of dual weapon warrior dedication and the skill feat of communal crafting. And thanks to our dual weapon warrior dedication, we are getting a free feat in double slice. I decided to go with dual weapon warrior because of how Nicholas fights in both his origin story and during the Rise of the Guardians movie. And communal crafting, of course, since he is a toy maker, it makes the most sense to have the ability to craft, not only by yourself, but with others, just like Santa Claus and Nicholas St. North in Rise of the Guardians, as you can see in North's workshop, not only with his elves, which actually have an interesting origin within the confines of that origin story, but also with the Yetis. Next is Rogue level 3. We are experts in diplomacy now. We are going to grab the feat Hireling Manager. Again, with the elves and the Yetis. And we're also going to get the skill feat of Intimidating Glare. I don't think you've noticed, but North is big and brawny. Rather intimidating. We also get Deny Advantage just for being a 3rd level rogue. At level 4, we are experts in Intimidation. We are going with the class feat of Quick Draw and the skill feat of Inventor. Have you seen some of North's inventions? He has a rocket power sleigh, and he also has snow globes that let him teleport, which is more of a magic thing, and we'll get into the magic much later, since he's primarily a melee fighter. He's not really much of a magic user, though he does use magic from time to time. Just letting you know why we're not focusing on a magic class. Anywho, moving on to level 5, let's go ahead and increase our strength, dexterity, constitution, and charisma each by 2 points. By 2 points, we're going with the expert skill of stealth. We're going to grab the ancestry feat of know oneself. This is sort of to reference his conversation with Jack Frost in the movie. What is your center? Then we have the skill feat of assurance, and we are also getting access to weapon tricks. At level 6, we get access to the expert skill of acrobatics. We're going with the class feat of twin parry and the skill feat of bon mot. Going to level 7 rogue, we are masters in the crafting skill. We're going to grab the feat ride, the skill feat of group coercion, and we also get access to perception mastery, evasive reflexes, and weapon specialization. At level 8, we are now masters in diplomacy. We are going with the class feat of flincing slice and the skill feat of impeccable crafting. At level 9, we are now masters in intimidation. We are going with the ancestry feat of cooperative nature and the skill feat of battle cry. Since we are 9th level rogue, we get rogue resilience and debilitating strike. At level 10, more ability score increases. Dexterity, constitution, and charisma are each going to be increased by 2, while your strength is getting increased by 1. Since we are going from 18 to 19. Next is your expert skill in society with the class feat of dual weapon blitz and the skill feat of intimidating prowess. At level 11, we are now experts in arcana. We're going to grab the feat of feather step and the skill feat of arcane sense. This is probably around the time when North does become an apprentice to a master magician, much like in the original story of Nicholas St. North versus the Nightmare King. We also get access to rogue expertise at around this time. At level 12 rogue, we are masters in stealth. We're going to grab the class feat of skirmish strike and the skill feat of assured identification. At level 13, we are now masters in arcana. We're going to grab the ancestry feat of cooperative soul and the skill feat of terrain expertise, and we're going to pick Arctic to symbolize the North Pole. We also get access to greater rogue reflexes, perception legend, master tricks, and light armor expertise just for being a 13th level rogue. At level 14, we are going to be masters in society, and we're going to grab the class feat of sword master dedication and the skill feat of magical crafting. We're going with these different dedication feats instead of a class feat because Nicholas was a master swordsman, which is why we decided to go with sword master dedication for our second dedication feat. And magical crafting to go for those teleporting snow globes. At level 15, go ahead and increase your wisdom by 2 points, while your strength, constitution, and charisma each get increased by 1 point. You are now a legendary in the crafting skill. Your feat is going to be Die Hard, while your skill feat is going to be No Cause for Alarm. You also get access to double debilitation and greater weapon specialization. At level 16, we are now legendary in the Arcana skill. We are going to grab the class feat of Quick Stow and the skill feat of Craft Anything. As level 17, we are experts in the survival skill. We are going to grab the ancestry feat of group aid and the skill feat of efficient explorer. And since we are level 17 rogues, we are going to grab access to agile mind. At level 18, we are experts in thievery. We are going with the class feat of harrying strike and the skill feat of experienced professional. At level 19, we are masters in survival. We are going to grab the feat of true perception and the skill feat of improvised crafting. We also have access to master strike and light armor mastery at this level. And now for level 20, we are getting an increase to dexterity and wisdom by 2 points, as well as constitution and charisma each by 1 point. We are masters in, well, not masters, we are experts in the athletic skill, and we are grabbing the class feat of magus dedication to finally give us access to spells. And since the magus does gain a spell book, I thought it would be appropriate to go with the skill feat of magical shorthand. And since we grabbed Magus Dedication, normally it would be giving access to the trained skill of Arcana, but since we already have Arcana, we are instead going to pick Nature as our trained skill. And with that being said, that is all for today's video. What did you think? Let me know in the comment section below, and also let me know what character you would like to see next on this channel. Until next time, this has been Drehan, and I wish you a happy holiday.